Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. So for today's video I have one that I've been kind of planning for a little while, but I feel like now is like definitely the right time to be uploading it, and it is a huge list of TV shows that you guys need to see if you haven't already. It's mainly going to be like all my favourites, stuff I've been loving watching recently, well, not even recently, some of these things I've watched over and over and over again. I thought I would share them with you guys since we now have a lot more time to be watching TV, and I feel like if I don't find new stuff to watch I end up watching the same stuff, so I kind of want to share with you guys all of my favourites. So yeah, let's get into it. So I've actually divided this video into 3 categories: Netflix, Amazon and Disney. You'll see that the Netflix category definitely has the most in it, just because obviously it's been around the longest and I use it the most, but yeah, so let's get into it. Firstly, Netflix. The first show I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about these shows with like spoilers and stuff, I'm just going to say that I like them basically, and kind of a very short premise of what they're about. The first one is on Netflix and it is Sex Education. I'm sure most of you have seen it. It's a huge TV show, everyone loves it. Personally for me, I love it because it's so funny, and although it does cover a lot of serious topics, it is hilarious. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it at first, but yeah, it's so good. If you guys haven't seen it, you definitely should. Next up is Bad Education. Don't get confused by the two, they're very different. This one stars Jack Whitehall. If you guys don't know, I love him. He is my favourite comedian. Basically he is a teacher in a secondary school kind of thing, and yeah, again, it's really funny. I watched it a long time ago for the first time now, but I've watched it so many times. I feel like it's one of those shows that you can't really get bored of. For me, if I need a good pick-me-up, I will always watch this because it always makes me laugh without fail. Like, it takes a lot for me to laugh out loud at stuff, but that show, I laugh out loud every single episode. It's just so good. And the episodes are quite short, so it's super easy to binge. If you want something binge-worthy, then definitely check that out. Same with Fresh Meat. I absolutely love Fresh Meat. Again, it's probably up there with like my top 3 even TV shows of all time. The final episode makes me bawl my eyes out every time and I can't watch it. I've actually only watched the last episode once, but I've seen the whole series like 3 times at least. But yeah, again, it's so good. It's about a group of friends at British uni. They're all living together and it's all about what they get up to. It's quite an old show now, like I think it was made or like, yeah, it's quite an old TV show now, but again, Jack Whitehall is in it. A common theme here, but yeah, I really like it, and again, I would watch it over and over. And if you haven't seen it, then definitely check it out, especially if you're at uni or you're about to go to uni, or if like right now you have been sent home from uni. It's so funny and I feel like very relatable. Next up on Netflix, a little bit of a change of tone, but it is The Crown. Again, I'm obsessed with The Crown. I've seen every episode. I watched it basically as soon as it came out. I'm a huge sucker for anything where I'm like learning stuff, and I'm also a bit of a fan of the royal family. Don't really know why, just am. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's so pretty to watch. I think the casting is incredible, and yeah, I love it. Love it. Also, sorry if you can hear my washing machine in the background. I'm hoping that you can't, but it is on, so apologies. Next up is Gavin and Stacey. Obviously this isn't exclusive to Netflix, but I watched it on Netflix. I feel like if you're gonna watch it and you have Netflix, then maybe this is the best way to watch it. I love Gavin and Stacey so much. I feel like everyone watching this has probably seen it, but in case you haven't, I recommend it. Last year I watched it 3 times in a year. It is my go-to if I'm like not feeling very well and like want to have like a cozy bed day. I'll always watch Gavin and Stacey. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with it. I think it's hilarious. I can quote it now, which is quite bad, but yeah. Next up, a very random one for me. I'm not really a huge fan of like reality TV, but Love is Blind. Oh my god. You guys, if you haven't watched Love is Blind on Netflix, you should, because it is weird. It is actually crazy. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I'm not really a fan of Love Island, so I didn't think I would particularly get on with it, but I've seen a few episodes now. I haven't finished it yet, and oh my god, it's weird. It's so weird. Yeah, just watch it if you haven't already. That's all I can really say. Although for some context, they basically have to date someone through a wall, so they can't like see each other. yeah, it's insane, it's crazy. Next up is Lovesick, and I actually forgot about this program until I was scrolling through my like watch list for ideas for this video. But Lovesick again is really good. It's a British comedy rom-com type thing. It's about a guy who gets chlamydia, and he basically has to go and tell all of his ex-partners that he's had it, and each episode is basically going through each partner he's had, and it's just hilarious. Again, definitely binge worthy. I think I finished it in like 2 days, and then was really sad when I found out there aren't any more episodes. And it's also quite old, so they're not going to make any more episodes. But yeah, I fully recommend it. It's a good show. It's really funny. I feel like it's very British humour though, so if you're not from the UK you might not get it, but I would just say give it a go anyway, because it's hilarious. And finally, for my Netflix recommendations is Jane the Virgin. It wouldn't be a video if I didn't talk about Jane the Virgin. If you guys used to watch my weekly and weekend vlogs that I used to do like a few years ago, you'll know that I watched it all the time. Like, me and Alice literally sat and watched every episode of Jane the Virgin together. That is still happening. We still haven't actually finished it, because we kind of promised each other that we wouldn't watch it without each other there. So for a while we were watching it via FaceTime and like trying to watch it at the same time, but it wasn't really working. We're kind of stuck halfway through the second to last season, I think, so we haven't finished it yet. But I love that sweet show. I don't think it would have been quite as good if it wasn't for the narrator, who is hilarious. If you've watched it, then you'll know exactly what I mean, but if you haven't, definitely recommend it. There's a lot of episodes, about 45 minutes an episode, so it's going to take up a lot of your time, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, I love it. I think it's so good. Okay, we're going to move on to Amazon Prime now, and the first one I'm going to talk about is actually my favourite TV show of the moment. I'm still watching it, and that is The Office. It is the US Office. I've not ever watched the UK Office. I've heard opinions on what people think is better, but I watched the US Office because it's on Amazon Prime, and oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. I didn't think I would be, because it's quite a like bland TV show, like very binge worthy, very like background type TV show, but I love it. I don't know what it is about it. I feel like it's myself growing up, because obviously I've like watched Fresh Meat, which is about university, and now I'm watching The Office, which is about life in an office job, and I feel like that's just a sign of the times, really. It just sums me up perfectly. But yeah, I'm obsessed with it, and I'm on like season 6 now, I think, so I'm very close to finishing it. I've got 3 seasons left, which sounds like a lot, but they're only 20 minutes an episode, so I'm gonna get there quite quickly. And I kind of don't want to finish it, although I know that I am probably gonna end up rewatching it at some point, because I love it. Again, I can't really explain why it is that I love it. It's just funny and very easy to watch, and yeah, if you haven't watched it, then you definitely should. Next up on Amazon Prime, I feel like again it's a little bit of a cult classic, but it is Community. Again, I haven't finished it. I'm halfway through. I'm kind of halfway through everything at the moment. Like, I've not really sat down and just finished a season of anything, but Community is really funny. Again, very similar premise to like The Office and Fresh Meat. It's just like a very like sitcom-y type vibe, and I feel like I appreciate that a lot, especially if I'm trying to binge stuff. It's super funny, and it's basically about a group of, I want to say kids, but they're not, they're like adults at a community college, and it's just so funny. Again, it's American, so I feel like for any of my American viewers watching, this is probably more appropriate for you guys. But again, I feel like it's a bit of a cult classic, so you might have already seen it, but if you haven't, definitely recommend. So the final pick for my Amazon picks, I actually only have 3 because I don't really use Amazon Prime that much, but we have it on our TV, so I just kind of every now and again will go on it and have a look. And it is Mr. Robot. It is an Amazon original show. My boyfriend actually watched it when he was doing study abroad and loved it. Like, he's not really one to like express a lot of opinion on something, but Mr. Robot is one thing that he literally is obsessed with, and he's making me watch it. I can't say it's my favourite thing that I've ever watched. We're getting through it really slowly at the moment, because I kind of keep wanting to watch other things, mainly The Office, over it. But they're about an hour an episode, so again, I wouldn't say it's like the most bingey thing you can watch, because it is quite slow and complicated. If you are into like kind of things that are really gripping, then definitely give this a go. It is super gripping, and you're going to want to watch the next episode, but For me personally, I can't really binge it, but yeah, it is super good if you want something to like really concentrate on. It's quite like dystopian, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm hoping that I do get to finish it soon because I feel like I've been dragging it out for a long time. I've been watching this since last year and I still haven't finished it, and there's 4 seasons. The 4th season has only come out recently, so yeah, quite a current recent show, and yeah, I really recommend it. So my final pick for TV shows is from Disney Plus. Now Disney Plus has only been out in the UK for about a week as you guys are watching this, but I did spend most of last night watching a lot of stuff on there, so I feel like I have a lot to talk about already, and also based on the opinion of others, like I've heard a lot about lots of different shows. Most of the things I'm going to mention are Disney Plus originals, although I am just going to shout out all of the DCOMs, in particular Starstruck and Camp Rock are my all-time faves, and also the classic Disney Channel throwbacks, because who doesn't love a good Disney Channel throwback? I'm so excited to watch like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Wizards of Waverly Place. Yeah, I can't wait to relive my childhood through Disney Plus. But some of the other things I've been loving is One Day at Disney. It's like an hour-long documentary about different people that work within the Walt Disney Company. It's really interesting. Obviously I'm a bit biased because I am a sucker for the Disney Company and like would literally give my right arm for them, but it is really interesting. If you guys don't really know much about the Disney Company and you are at all interested, then do give it a watch. It kind of goes into depth with like lots of different people, so like animators, different park cast members, different branches of the company even, which I didn't even really know was a thing. So yeah, definitely watch that if you are at all interested. And they interview Bob Iger a lot. Obviously I know he's technically not the CEO of Disney anymore, but for the purpose of the show he was. So yeah, I think it's really interesting and insightful, and yeah, it was a good hour. I enjoyed it. Next up is The Mandalorian. I'm 2 episodes in right now because that's all they have on Disney Plus at the moment, because I think they're coming out weekly. But yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, as I've said many times before, so anything Star Wars I will appreciate. I know a lot of people have problems with like spin-off stuff, but I really like it. The first episode I did find quite hard to watch, in terms of I couldn't hear what they were saying. I don't know if anyone else has had this problem, it might be just my laptop, but I could hear the like background soundtrack, but I couldn't hear them, so maybe watch it with subtitles. I'd also recommend watching it in a dark room. I don't know why, but I feel like because I always see Star Wars films in the cinema, I've not really seen a Star Wars film that's new not in the cinema, so I feel like for me, watching it on my laptop screen in like a dark room is probably the best way to watch it. It's quite a dark show, so like lighting wise, so make sure that you don't have any lights around. It sounds really silly, but like I feel like that helps with the experience of watching it. Obviously Baby Yoda is the cutest thing I have ever seen in my entire life, and I want one. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, so if you guys do like Star Wars, anything science fiction-y, then definitely give that a watch. Next up is The Imagineering Story, and again, similar premise to One Day at Disney. It's basically a series on lots of different people who work within the Imagineering world and how they do it, basically. Again, really interesting if you're into the Disney parks at all and you're like at all interested in how they did it and that kind of thing. It's actually quite an emotional show. Like, I didn't think it would be, but it is quite emotional. Don't know if this is just coming from someone who has worked in the parks and can like really appreciate it, but if you are again interested in that sort of thing, then give it a watch. And the final one I want to talk about isn't one that I thought I'd mention, but it is the Disney Fairy Tale Weddings show on Disney Plus. I had no interest in watching this because I was like, this is just going to be the cringiest program ever. Because I do think that I do find that side of Disney quite cringy, if I'm going to be honest. But actually, I think once you see past the cringe, it's so interesting how they do it. And I've only watched the first couple of episodes, but once you get past kind of how expensive it is, how slightly cringy the people are, it is actually really interesting how they do it and how they set things up and what they actually offer for like a wedding at Disney World. It's insane. By all means, it's not my cup of tea, but yeah, I do find it really interesting, and I think just as a general, any of the kind of Disney shows that are being put on there about the parks and the company, I'm naturally going to find really interesting. So I feel like that's why that's included on this list. There are a couple more kind of company style documentary things that are on there that I've not seen, and they've got the shorts for One Day at Disney. I watched 2 of those last night and they were really good as well. They're only like 10 minutes long and it gives you a good insight into each person who is featured in the documentary. It kind of goes into a little more detail about who they are and what they do, and yeah, I just love it. I think Disney Plus is probably the best £50 I've ever spent. I pre-ordered it, so I paid for it up front, and I definitely do not regret that because there is so much on there and I know that I'm just not going to get bored. Okay guys, I think that is everything for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to comment down below any of your guys' TV recommendations right now. Let me know what you're watching. I'd love to watch something new. Not that I need anything new right now. It doesn't harm to have a list. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already for future content, and I'll see you guys again very soon with another video. Bye!